Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining this Learn session today. I'm Tanya Chung, and I'm the Senior Network Development Advisor at the START Network. And so my work is all around supporting hubs to emerge and develop and to become independent according to their vision and their context. And that's really what we're talking about today. So during the session, I'll take you through some of our learning and thinking about new hubs before handing you over to some representatives of the two emerging new hubs. So we have Isaac in Somalia and Gloria in South Sudan. And then lastly, you'll hear from Syed from the Pakistan Hub, who will be talking about the peer mentoring role between the founding and the emerging hubs. So I'll just share a presentation. Okay, great. So to start off, one of the big areas we've been looking at over the last few months has been around expanding the number of hubs that we're supporting within the START network, and really how to do that in the most supportive and locally led way, building on the learning that we have from supporting the 5 founding hubs so far. So I hope you were able to attend the previous 2 hub-focused Learn sessions where representatives of each hub shared about their journey in forming hubs so far. Right, so before we jump into the new hub thinking and process, I wanted to take us back a few steps and reflect on our journey so far and also going forwards to becoming a locally led network of networks. So all of this really began with START Evolves, a strategic visioning process in 2017 that I imagine many of you or your colleagues were involved in, and that really set out that incredible vision for locally led hubs that would together shift START Network from being a centralized network of predominantly international NGOs to a decentralized and evolved network of networks. So after START Evolves, the thinking process, there was a period of scoping with calls for proposals and expressions of interest to form hubs, initial discussions with interested coalitions, and all of that culminated in a decision to move forward with 5 founding hubs in the DRC, Guatemala, India, Pacific region, and Pakistan. And they've been working really hard to design and develop and steer their hubs through incubation towards independence. And then in the 4th circle here, you'll see the point that we're sharing with you today around expanding the Hub Collective. And that then links to the important end goal outlined in orange to have that really critical mass of locally led hubs to form the network of networks as envisioned in START Evolves. So within that broader journey, we really feel that this is the time for new hubs. The 5 founding hubs are progressing really well under incubation, and they've set a target for themselves to become independent by the end of 2022. And during that whole process, it's become incredibly clear that hubs are very pivotal within the network and beyond. They have shaped our governance, they've diversified our membership, influenced our strategy, designed programs, all the while demonstrating how being a more locally led network enriches and strengthens and improves our collective efforts, particularly for those we work to support in crisis-affected and at-risk areas. And so increasing the number of hubs in our network will only scale up the impact of these shifts. Practically, more hubs will enable more members to be part of the hub model, eventually ensuring that there are hubs in all contexts where needed and demanded for by local actors and members. But strategically, more hubs will accelerate our shift to becoming a more locally led network and enable us to better measure and model the impact of that change to influence the wider humanitarian system. So when it came to really engaging with new hubs, we wanted to make sure we were adapting our approach based on learning and feedback and experience of incubating the 5 founding hubs. And there have been 3 key lessons that have really shaped their approach. So the first is that hubs are not a START Network project. We can't see them as a top-down project that is led by START Network, where the START Network Secretariat or management dictate the timeline, processes, and outcomes. And really, if hubs are to be truly locally led, locally contextualized, and sustainable entities, they have to have the space to evolve in their own way based on their context, priorities, and issues. And in order to do so, we need to ensure that the relationship between hubs and START networks is a mutual partnership where all parties can drive and shape the process, they can hold each other accountable and shape the decision making. So this second piece of learning in the middle there is that the success of hubs is most dependent on the dedication and energy of the hub leaders and the members. And as a locally led process, if the local leaders have and own the vision and the drive and the support needed, they'll be able to bring the hub to fruition. And that's what really will determine success. So rather than conducting a top-down decision-making process to select the locations where we want to deliver hubs for our own purposes, Start Network should take the lead from locally led coalitions requesting to form a hub, not dictating where and how hubs should be delivered. And then to the last lesson I wanted to share with you today is around the importance of early alignment. So before potential hubs devote too much time and energy into quite operational or programmatic issues, it can be helpful to support the emerging hub to surface key issues that speak to the partnership and the principles and the values of the hub to ensure there's a sense of alignment amongst foundational members. And this can mirror the stage of early discussions that took place prior to formally establishing the hub. So for example, in Pakistan, the hub that Syed's part of, local and international NGOs and members discussed ideas around the hub for a few years prior to the official incubation of the Pakistan hub. And that was really important. So we don't want to require that new hubs take quite as long, but believe that with our support, we can mirror and accelerate some of those early discussions. And that's where that peer mentoring role of the founding hubs is also really pivotal. And this can enable potential hubs to build on a foundation of alignment once they begin hub incubation. So this is where we came to. We call this the mutual partnership model of hub formation. And there's a lot of detail on this slide. I won't talk through it all, but just to walk you through the main principles behind the model. The first thing is that the process is broken into several phases, and between each phase is a mutual decision that's to be taken by the new hub, the Start Network, and the existing hub collective to guide whether or not we're ready to proceed to the next phase. And this mutual decision gives agency to all parties. Secondly, the intensity, expectations, and associated support provided during each phase increases as hubs progress through the phases. So in this first phase, which is initial engagement, it's a very light process with minimal outcomes. Essentially, it's a hub concept note that demonstrates a locally led vision for change. And so the support from the Start Network team and fellow hubs is similarly light. But as we progress through the next phase, which is hub exploration through to the following phase, hub incubation, the amount of support increases substantively, as do the outcomes. And through it all, hubs will be guided by readiness indicators. These are things that were co-designed with the founding hubs and are minimum requirements to be met to demonstrate the necessary strength, value, and sustainability of the hub. And that end goal, the last phase, is for the hub to become independent, exit incubation, and to be able to join the Start Network as an official entity in its own right. Right. Lastly, I wanted to share with you where these potential new hubs may be located. So in green, you'll see the existing hubs, the 5 founding hubs, and then in orange are where the new potential hubs are based. And they really bring a strong diversity to the existing portfolio of hubs, both geographically, so you'll see a greater spread in sub-Saharan Africa, as well as the types of contexts. So there are some in more complex conflict settings, such as Afghanistan, and with the 2 colleagues here, South Sudan and Somalia, as well as places affected by a range of hazards and risks, so Kenya, Bangladesh, and the Philippines. And what we'll do is really to continue to learn and adapt as we support this new cohort to inform further next steps to expanding to an even wider set of hubs in the coming years. So with that, I'll hand over now to Isaac, who's from the emerging Somali Humanitarian Hub. He's the Nexus Platform Director, to share a bit about their vision for their hub and what they want to achieve. So over to you, Isaac.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tania, for the presentation. And my name's are Isaac Malim, and can you all hear me? Yes.
Yes.
So my name's are Isaac Malim, and I am the current director for Nexus Platform. And Yeah, I'm the current director of Nexus platform and the founding member of Somali Humanitarian Hub. So, and today I'm here to speak a little bit about Somali Humanitarian Hub and how we joined Start Network and our journey towards fulfilling the hub vision and the change we are planning to achieve through this hub. So the hub is still at the initial formation stage, and we have just had the engagement with this Start Network, and we have submitted our concept note towards the formation of the hub, but still we are in the process of developing the rest of the steps with just the way Tanya has just discussed now. So what about Somali Humanitarian Hub? So this brings together regional humanitarian organizations, civil society, and for civil society innovation and development. So 8 local members, local international, 2 international and 8 local or national organizations have joined together to form the Somali Humanitarian Hub. And at the initial stage, Nexus platform, which I'm the director, is hosting and managing the hub affairs through the initial stages. But again, just wanted for the audience to know what Nexus is. Nexus is a platform or a consortium of NGOs, local NGOs mainly, coming together with the intention of civil society leadership and research and making sure that local organizations are crossing or are coming over the contemporary challenges that are facing organizations or local organizations in Somalia. So coming up with a community-driven model of implementation of programs as well as partnership, and maybe piloting triple nexus programming and very interesting other issues with Nexus platform. Maybe you can visit our website. But on to why Somalia and why did we form this hub? Somalia is one of the most complicated and protracted emergency contexts in the world. And in today's world, Somalia had 2 famines in the year 1992 and the year 2011, and 2017 we had a near famine situation in Somalia. And this is coupled by conflict, numerous man-made and climate-induced humanitarian crisis. And this time round again, there is an upsurge of locust and COVID-19 on top of the crisis that are facing populations in Somalia. So, and but with all these crises, there's a lot of innovations, lots of good work that's going on in Somalia. Somalia is the first place where cash-based intervention was fully scaled up in Somalia, and it has quite a number of interesting programs that organizations, particularly local actors, are doing, like pushing for social protection interventions and social safety net mechanisms are being piloted and tried in Somalia. So quite a number of interesting issues that are coming up. Why are we having this hub, and what is the vision? What change do we want to see? Is that we want to provide a platform for local actors to do networking, learning, and capacity strengthening. Another one activity that we want to achieve with this hub is strengthening the localization agenda in Somalia and Somaliland through research and advocacy. And then the other one is advancing awareness, advocacy, and innovation of in terms of programming and addressing long-term solutions and resilience for Somali communities. And lastly is, but not the least, of the main blocks of our achievement goal is to establish a pooled anticipatory and emergency response fund for local organizations in Somalia. So, and if I may pick each one on a separate separately, is that the platform is organizing a networking way of which will help in learning and capacity strengthening. So the hub has experienced members who we can capitalize on their experience and geographical operations, as well as creating a model for social assistance, such as cash transfers and safety nets, and building peace building, emergency response, and community prioritizations. So that is one way we want to achieve the one major pillar for this hub vision. And another pillar is strengthening the localization agenda, and how we want to do that is through the use working closely with the Nexus platform, which is already an established local platform that is running quite an interesting activities and advocacies in Somalia. So the hub wants to closely work with the Nexus platform and its members and the donor and the government in strengthening and adopting a change towards meaningful contribution towards localization. So on this, again, we are also working and with one of the Nexus member, that is Oxfam, who is also an organization that has pioneered a lot of effort on localization globally and at the national level. So we are borrowing a lot of examples from Oxfam and the team of Oxfam who are supporting us in achieving this localization agenda in Somalia. So another pillar and vision, the way we want to achieve our vision with this hub is advancing awareness, advocacy, and innovative programming. Yeah, in Somalia, you will be able to see a recurrent climate-induced crisis like drought, erratic rainfalls, and locust invasion have become a new normal in Somalia. So with this, Somalia is also bearing the brunt of the climate change while also contributing minimal in terms of the climate emission. So we want to create as awareness and advocacy and towards this end. And then we also want to use the voice of the community to raise awareness globally on the climate change, and then utilize some of the members' experience, the hub members who are now 10, but we plan to increase them to make sure that we coordinate with them and use the experience, as well as collaborating with the government to ensure that issues of programming and climate change is also addressed. And then one last thing is we want to achieve with a hub that we have just formed and partnered with a START network is to establish an anticipatory and emergency response fund for local organizations in Somalia, centrally managed and fundraised by the hub. And just to bring closer to the reality is that we are working closely with the Nexus network, which I'm the director. And with the hub, we want to borrow some example on how to run an anticipatory pool fund within Somalia and organized and run by the locals. So just to the Somali, the Nexus platform that's working in Somalia now is managing an anticipatory fund that is locally managed and by one of the Nexus members, and it has fully managed all the anticipatory fund that is in the pool fund just recently. And we are borrowing that example to make sure that our Somali Humanitarian Hub is also able to have a pooled anticipatory and emergency fund to manage and respond to crisis immediately. This we can borrow experience from START network as well as other anticipatory networks that we usually partner with. So and then maybe also fundraise for with the same and manage the disbursement as well. So we are also learning, but we managed one. We are still in the pilot stage running the same one with the Nexus partner. And we look forward to make sure that the world, we prove to the world that local actors in Somalia can also run efficiently and with integrity and with all the precautions anticipatory fund. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. And we are in the process of forming up and partnering with the START network to make sure that the hub is in full-fledged. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Isaac, and for sharing that really incredible vision. I think it's clear how you have such big plans and vision, and I have no doubt you'll be able to bring them to fruition. So next up is Gloria, Gloria Soma, the director of TT Foundation and one of the proponents of the emerging South Sudan Hub. So over to you, Gloria.
Thank you, Tanya. Good afternoon, morning, and evening to all of your colleagues, wherever you all are. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Tanya, and just talking on the South Sudan Hub and why exactly we wanted this established in South Sudan was, one, we all know that for a very long period of time, South Sudan has been having a lot of protracted crises, ranging from conflicts, intercommunal violence. We're having issues to do with climate change, most specifically floods at the moment, whereby half of the country is basically submerged in water. And we've been having issues around famine and also the locust invasion. And, every day seems to be having its own, couple of problems. So looking at that, when we saw how our humanitarian system in South Sudan has been for a very long time handled, we felt that, majority of especially local actors who would be part and parcel of the people driving the conversations around the different interventions across the country are always left out of, of these discussions. And it is mainly, a multilateral kind of discussions, and then decisions are based on what they decide on. And then it's just imposed to the local community to try and adopt those solutions. But sometimes we find out that, these solutions are not sufficient enough. And then, the adoption side of things takes sometimes forever, or sometimes even are not sustainable, or they do not work at all. So, and this is where now the birth of the START network in South Sudan basically started taking shape. We wanted a place or a platform whereby we will be able to lead as equal partners within every intervention that happened in the country. And I'm glad that even in the formulation of the hub, as we have already started, has been that, we have 50% of international actors and 50% of also the local actors taking place. But then within the conversations in all interventions in South Sudan, we find out that women-led and women rights organizations have also been left always out of the discussions. They are the most marginalized, but they have a lot of unique elements of programs that they bring on board, and very innovative ones, which we never cease to, take the opportunity and build on those existing capacities. So what becomes then unique for us in the South Sudan Hub is that we have also intentionally brought this kind of groups within the sector, so that we're able to also tap into the unique innovation in unique experiences that they bring onto the table to ensure that, we have a smooth way of running our different interventions according to what we're planning to do. So what we're also forecasting within our platform is the fact that the partnerships are quite equitable. They're equal partnerships in terms of the coordination, in terms of capacity, because we are not discriminating that maybe an international organization has better capacity than this, but there's a belief already within the network that each person that is coming on board has their own unique strengths. And these are the strengths that we need to tap into as a hub in order for us to benefit much more better. And these are all the things that, we're bringing and incorporating in the establishment of our hub. The other bit is the fact that we're able to give space for people to raise, especially local actors, to raise, their voices and those of the vulnerable communities that they serve. Hence, in this format, we're able to also contribute towards the discussion around localization at the end of the day. But then beyond that, there's also the room, because we remember that even in our initial engagements, when we're starting these discussions, we're able to connect already with colleagues from DRC at Hub Cohort. And you see, that was able to also build in on how we want to have our conversations, moving forward. So there was already, the platform that provides us with ample, I would say, context to tap into, because of the already existing hubs that are around and are surrounding us within this space. So what exactly do we want to achieve? I'm looking at all the setup or context of South Sudan. One is that in a very long time, we've always had donors only pool resources into the country pooled funds. But when you look at even the structuring in terms of leadership of this fund, local actors do not really have a big say around this resource. So establish was one of the reasons that motivated us, and it's one of the visions that we're fighting for, that we can have adequate, flexible resources that local actors also have a voice in driving how we want this resource to be allocated and how it should be utilized for the benefit of the different communities that we're serving. We also wanted, South Sudan in a very long time has been having all these challenges around climate change, but unfortunately, the system is set up only to respond to a particular kind of need, the humanitarian response. They never look into issues to do with emergencies or even, anticipatory related matters or preparedness. So this fund actually also will assist us. The hub will basically assist us in ensuring that we have a portion of that also established to handle such kind of emergencies if need arises, so that we're able to intervene. Giving an example of our current setup in South Sudan is that since the floods started taking shape in the country in 2018, people instead of planning on such kind of crises, people kept pushing that agenda out of the table, and it was difficult to bring it up because they thought that there was prioritized already interventions on other things that they needed to do. So we find out that now in 2021, half of the country is submerged in water. But this is something that would have been, we would have prepositioned better as actors in the country if we had been given that opportunity, to have these conversations and shape that kind of intervention. The final bit also is that the platform the hub we're envisioning is that it will give room to, both actors, whether national, international organizations, women rights organizations, and even government stakeholders, to be able to come in and have, a much more coordinated conversation in the table, and it will not be, some kind of a sidelined kind of conversations that we are currently foreseeing. So, looking at that, I think we're excited about this new journey, and we also want to take the opportunity to thank all of you colleagues from the different hubs, and also START Network itself as our mother body, that for giving us this opportunity actually, and for working with us this journey as we move towards fully establishing the hub in South Sudan. We look forward to a fruitful year ahead of us all, and thank you so much once again, Tanya and colleagues, for giving us this opportunity. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Gloria, for sharing that vision of a locally led and women-led hub in such an inspiring and passionate way. Really looking forward to seeing how it emerges and all those pieces around partnership and local voice and visibility and the connection with the DRC hub. So that leads us to the next part of the agenda. I'm turning to Syed Suleiman from the Pakistan hub. He's a member of the National Steering Committee in the hub, which is called Ready Pakistan, to talk about the engagement with the founding and between the founding and emerging hubs.
Thank you so much, Tanya, and thank you so much, all hub family members. I think we will also learn from our new hubs. And however, each country, each region, they have their own context. But what we will share with them, what we will support them, how to support them, like we will share with them, the lesson learned that we learned during this 4 or 5 years, journey. Working on the hub establishment in Pakistan, and second, we were also looking to the what went well, what went wrong. So it was not easy at the beginning, to establish a hub. So different stakeholders, different levels. So what I would say that we have shared with them recently, and we will be sharing with them more lesson learns, that we are actually committed. And we should be committed to the system change. And we should learn from START Network that they actually offer their power sharing. So they said we are going to shift our power to you people at the local level. So the same, I think we should ensure that each country that they are developing or establishing hub should have, like engaging wider communities, ensuring balance between national, international, and local NGOs that all are being part of this power sharing. And also, like we should also ensure that ownership of the hubs. So it should be owned by the NGOs working in each country. So they should take more responsibility and with the commitment to ensure that it's sustainable. It's very important. Other UN, other NGOs, they came in to start something, but it was not sustainable. So what we are looking at to be sustainable, shifting the power in local led hubs. Do I have time or is finished the time?
You can have another minute or two if you have more points to share.
Yeah. And again, I would say that we should try our best to engage with wider humanitarian communities in each hub. And also we should agree on some principles and how to ensure accountability to the communities, because we are bringing power from the START network to the local hubs, and then we need to also share the power, and also we should share the power with the people we work with them, because there is power imbalance also at the community level. So we make sure that we work for them and we are accountable to them. Thank you so much all, and happy if there is any question.
Thanks so much, Syed, for sharing those wise words of advice and really encouraging that local ownership and responsibility. And just to say, Syed is a hub mentor. So each new hub will be paired with someone from an existing or one of the founding hubs to do that mentorship role. So we are now turning to questions. I hope everyone listening is able to post questions on the platform in the chat, and our moderators will share them back with us. So yeah, back to our speakers. There's one question here already that I'll direct to all of you actually. So someone's asked, what kinds of support or engagement would the national NGO representatives on this panel like to see from START INGO members, either in terms of hub incubation or subsequent collaboration on issues like support to local NGOs to move up the tiered due diligence levels. So maybe I can turn first to Gloria, and then I'll come to each of you in turn. Gloria, do you have any vision for how START network members, the international members, can support you and your hub?
I think, okay, I'll give an example from what we are trying to work out on the South Sudan context, whereby, one, we are trying to ensure that, there's no dominancy of the fact that you're an INGO, and then, yes, there's always that bit that people want to pull ranks because of, the organizations that they handle. But we're encouraging that we have, that uniform platform whereby, one, we have ample time to listen to one another, and also to be able to respect also the different ideas that, the different parties or players are bringing onto the discussion table. And I think the discussion mainly has got to start from there, where, you give time and space for someone to talk, and you're able to listen in and digest and pick what we think is favorable for all of us. Because if we want to think, maybe, yes, because there's definitely different ways in which each of our agencies are doing things. INGOs do their things a little bit differently from how national partners act. But then I think that those beautiful components or strengths that are in between both of us, yeah? So if we are able to tap into those unique components or strengths from each of the different parties, then we are on the right path to ensure that, there's equity actually in all discussions and in all decision-making process within the hub. Over to you, Tanya.
Thanks, Gloria. Yeah, I think that really resonates with a lot of what some of the other hubs have mentioned, ensuring there isn't dominance, ensuring that equity and really foundation of respect is so important. So Isaac, do you have any thoughts on how START Network members, international organizations can support the Somali Humanitarian Hub?
Yes, thank you so much, Tanya, for tossing that question again. Quite a number of things. International and local actors and national actors are all in the field doing the same thing, but the way they do is different. Why local? Why international? Yes, like Gloria rightly put, it's the international do it a little bit different, and then the international have a very unique space as compared to the local actors, and they have to use that space to responsibly. One of it is partnership. If you are doing if you're working with local actors on partnership, then this partnership has to be kind of an agreed kind of partnership, which is standard. It has to be, you know, there's that the relationship has to be equally beneficial to the local or national as well as to the international partners. The way we do things, it has to have all the respect, all the accountability, and everything. There's no need for others to magnify the risk for local actors and then having it in a moderation with their own. So that's one. So the issue of partnership, that is already, like, if you want to see the right partnership for localization and the way local actors want is on quite a number of websites, but NIA Network has the best partnership model for local actors as well as for international actors. Another way is communities. Each of us, the internationals as well as local actors, have their experience and they have their strengths. So let's capitalize on significantly and objectively on the capacities of the local actors without maybe having or pushing them to the wall. I know local actors have a lot of experience if it comes to communities and the local context. Let's maximally objectively use it, but make sure that we respect each other. So there are quite a number of issues around local and international. We do the same work, we do for the same purpose. Let's respect each other and let's work together. Yeah.
Thank you, Isaac. Yeah, I think those are such important ways to frame that relationship and that partnership. And I love what you said about internationals having unique space and using that space responsibly. I think it speaks to issues of power and how we use our different powers as individuals and organizations. There's actually a power mapping session, a build session on Thursday that I hope everyone is going to be able to join, because we'll look at power within the network and within the hubs. So over to you, Syed. So you occupy an interesting position in that you are a staff member of an international NGO working in the Pakistan Hub. How have you worked to kind of serve as an ally to local actors in the hub, or are there things that your local colleagues have asked you to do to support them?
Yeah, it's a famous, I would say, proverb that, don't give someone fish and tell them how to fish, So we have in Pakistan very strong national and local NGOs that they are competing with international organization, which is really great. Even some of our partners now in the position that to be, compete with concern. At the same time, I think some local NGOs, they don't have the capacity to go through some detailed, procedures, or maybe they lack some resources, or maybe sometimes they lack some mechanism for them. I think we should work as a pair with them. We need to support them, because they are going to work on your behalf. They are going to be your partner. So I think we should also put in our mind that this is our partner, not something that I'm international NGO, so I'm bigger or means have more skills. No, they have more skills than us. They have better access than us in the community, with the government. So we are as a guest over there. Being myself a local, but my organization is a guest over there. So like we have to support the local NGOs wherever they need any system support. especially when they want to give them leadership role, then you need to also give them space. So the best thing is that also treat them, as an equal, and then facilitate them, help them to lead. And the good thing is now in Pakistan, our hub chair, steering committee chair is someone from local organization, which we are proud of the steering committee, that they elected a local NGO head to be chair the steering committee of international NGOs, local NGOs. So this is a good example, and I would say for other hubs also to especially if you have women head chair, and also if you have man. But at least I think we should give space more to the local NGOs to ensure equity and balance of the power, and also we act also to shift the power to our local partners.
Thank you, Syed. Yeah, and definitely, I mean, from seeing you in action and the Ready Pakistan in action, I think there's a lot of effort to create that trust and elevate the voices of local colleagues in the governance system. So maybe another question to Gloria and Isaac. You've spoken quite eloquently about your dreams for the hub, and your excitement comes through. Maybe, do you have any fears? Do you have any concerns? Are there things you're worried about as you go on this journey? Isaac, do you want to start?
Well, I think through the preparation stage, we made our informed decision. We looked at the pros and the cons, and we looked at what we need to do, and in the process of joining the START network and forming a hub. So I think we have some assumptions too, but these are not killer assumptions. We already have everything in place, and we are ready for the journey. And whatever comes along, we are also ready to make sure that we mitigate and make sure this hub is beneficial to all the local actors as well as the international actors in the hub today. Thanks.
Fantastic. And Gloria?
Thank you, Tanya. Well, definitely the fears are there, but then I think the advantages or the motivation behind why we wanted to formulate this, hub outweighs those disadvantages, yeah? And definitely we are not saying that it's all going to be a smooth ride. No, we anticipate some ups and downs. But then I think we're yet to face that challenge, because at the moment we haven't really, faced it. But I think as we transition in the near future to bring on board, because we are looking at the moment we are 10 members, 5 INGs and 5 national actors. But then, beyond that, we want to open the space a little bit wider. We don't want it just to be confined. And then definitely with a wider membership comes along some challenges that, comes with that expansion strategy. So yes, we are yet to navigate through that process. How it looks like, we don't know, but definitely we're glad that we have the existing hubs already where we can learn from and try and avoid some of these problems. If we foresee them that, they may happen and become a great challenge. But at least we're glad that we have somewhere where we can lean on and learn some lessons from as we maneuver through this journey. Over to you, Tanya.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's really the strength of the hub network. So the Pakistan hub, for example, is going through a membership drive at the moment, and I think they've received interest from over 100 organizations to join, local organizations to join the hub. So I think from that experience, there'll be lots of learning and advice for the other hubs as they go through something similar. I see there was a question in the chat around the readiness indicators. So I'll maybe direct you to where you can see more information about that. The slide that I shared about the hub, the mutual partnership model, actually outlines in brief some of those readiness indicators, and you can access that poster in the Learn corner in the Network of Networks section. But the detailed readiness indicators are actually being tested at the moment. So we co-designed them with the founding hubs, and Syed was very involved in that. And the hubs are now kind of testing that out and seeing if that really helps them in becoming these strong, independent hubs. So I'm sure we'll have a version that we could share more openly once it's been tested and piloted a little bit, and would love any input on that. So I think we're at time, just to say thank you so much to our speakers. I don't know if you want to turn on your camera for a last minute. I know there's bandwidth issues, but just to say goodbye and to thank you so much for your time and energy today. We're so excited to see what happens in your new hubs, as well as the other potential new hubs that may come on. To plug again, the build session on Thursday afternoon, it's called Locally Led in Name or Practice. And it's a session where we'll look at power dynamics within the START network, within the hubs. And that's a session that the hubs have co-designed. So yeah, I really hope you'll be able to join us for that, and also join any other of the assembly sessions for the rest of today and tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
So thank you all.
Yeah, and Tanya, I would say that we are still not mature, the hubs. So we need the START network support. So yeah, we need more time.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll all be working together. All right, thank you all.
Bye.